Welcome to this PowerBase screencast on sending and scheduling Mosaico mass emails. In this video, we'll take a look at how to create a Mosaico mass email, testing it, and then sending or scheduling the email. So let's get started. There's a few things you need to prepare for before you go ahead and start sending emails, mass emails. One is you need to make sure that your mailing list group is already prepared. So, and there's other screencasts on working with groups, but I can tell by going through my contacts, manage groups, I already have one ready to go, and I'm going to use my COM, Kernersville. It's a mailing list, and notice it's set up as a mailing list. That's the only way you'll be able to access your group. It has to be indicated as a mailing list. The next thing you want to make sure you have prepared is that your from email addresses are existing. So if you go to mailings from email addresses, this is where you can add new email addresses if they don't exist. If you want to add an email address, note there's a format here. You would just click on add from email address, and then you start with an open quote. I'm going to use Jamie's name. You can write whatever here. Now you can use, there's a space, then an open bracket. And here you can use their straight up email, or you can even use the organization's email. So whatever works for you. And then you just hit save. So you just need to make sure that the email addresses are there. Now we're pretty much ready to go and start creating our mailings. Prior to this, there have been templates, Mosaico templates that have been created, and there's another screencast for that to make it easier to build your new messages. Those templates will have the basic design, color schemes, footers, signatures, things like that. So let's start with just building our new mass email. And let's say this is going to be a newsletter. So I'm going to go to mailings on the navigation menu, click on new mailing, and then you can see there's 3 steps, and it's going to, step you through them. So the first thing we need to do is we need to give it a mailing name. Now this is the internal mailing name so that you can find the report that will be associated with it. Because PowerBase and PTP, we own our servers. We have the mail server. This mailing, Mosaico mailings, are integrated into PowerBase. So the reports, the metrics from the emails will be available in a report. So you need to give it a name so you can find it. So I'm going to call this my my Kernersville newsletter. And again, this is internal. I just need to be able to find it, right? So I'll just say it's, let's just say it's my December one. And if there's a campaign, you would put a campaign on it. But for this case, this is just a general newsletter. I'm going to change this to say it comes from me. Again, you can see, I can select, and you can see those from email addresses we just spoke about on setting that up. And here now is where I can see what groups are available. So I'm going to grab the Kernersville email list. And you can see there's approximately, it tells you how many recipients. Just so you know, that number may change based on who's unsubscribing. If folks are unsubscribing, PowerBase manages and removes the folks from the group. So this number may look different than what you see actually in your list. The subject line, now this is the public subject line. So here you want to really come up with a catchy phrase. I don't have a lot of catchy phrases, but I'm going to say words from the streets in Kernersville, right? Just why not? Give it something so they'll open it up. Tokens here, or if you want to add, personalize the subject line. Like if I wanted to say Alice, right? Words on the street, words from the streets, right? I can just go in and start looking for my first name. And now this only works if there is first names in your list. If there isn't, then don't use it. I prefer not to personalize it here. I like to just have the general subject line, and then I'm going to hit continue. So now here's the opportunity, and this is why it's great to already have templates created. I'm going to grab a template, our newsletter template that's already created. So I'm going to select it. And then you can see it'll populate the template with the new message with the template. Now, just because it's a template doesn't mean you can't move things around. The great thing, again, as I mentioned before, the templates give you the basic design that maybe your organization agreed upon, the color scheme, things like that, and particularly this footer. So basically, all I need to do is just write the content and maybe upload the pictures that I want. So looking at this, you can see that this is actually built using blocks. Notice there's blocks here, and each of these sections were built with blocks, right? This topic one is a section title. This block, next block here is, if I click on blocks, is basically this block. So I can change things around, which is great. And so maybe what I want to do, if I'm going to have 3 topics, but let's say I want this middle one to have a different look. I want a bigger picture, right? So I may just delete this second block, and notice if I highlight a block, you have opportunities to move it up. You can move it up, move it down, move it to the bottom. You can copy a block if you like the way it looks. That's the great thing about things like this. You can do that. But I'm just going to delete this block because I want a different block in there. So I'm just going to highlight the block before where I want to add the block. So I highlight it on topic 2. I'm going to click on blocks. It's just because I want a different look. You don't have to do this. I'm going to now just click add on the block that I want, right? So now I have my block that I want. And now I can go in and start doing my editing. I already put some lyrics here. These are actually lyrics. And I'm going to just copy. I like to have bullets of what's inside the newsletter. You know, again, this is up to you. So I may then put in the actual name of the topic. You can start typing, right? If I just click on the block, I just start typing, putting the information, right? So you can do this for all your blocks. Just go ahead and you can start typing away. I can now add whatever content I want. If I click on a block, you can do more with it, obviously. I can decide, do I need a title here? Because I already have a title up here. Yeah, no, I don't need the title, so I'm just not going to show this title. Again, I'm highlighting this block, but maybe I do want a button because I want folks to do something, right? So when I click on a block, and if I click on content, this is the contact menu on the left. This is where you can sort of manage or configure some of the look of the block, right? So do I want this image size bigger? Do I want to put on the left or right? Notice you can see, you can play with that. I always put links on everything so I know what people are clicking on. And maybe this one is like donate now, right? And I can just go in here and just click on donate now. And I can make sure that, I can use the PowerBase contribution page that I created. So I would make sure on the button here that I actually have the link of that PowerBase page, right? So then that's ready to go. And I can go ahead and start uploading pictures. I can click on the image. If I click on the image area I want, and again, don't worry about pixel size here. It's more about the shape of your photo. Like, don't put a long banner-like photo on here. It should be almost like a little squarish or just slightly rectangular-ish. So I'm going to click on this image area where I want to put a photo. I'm going to click on this image gallery icon that's on this menu. And then you have the opportunity to either click, or if you click here, you'll grab files from your desktop. And then you can upload it, or you can just go to your gallery and see what's there. And I already have some gallery pictures. So I'm going to just grab this one and I could pop it in, right? And if I close this, then I have the menu back. And so there's content. Notice the style. Usually the style's already set up in your template, but if you do want to do more, if you click on style on a particular block, notice you can change the style for all the blocks, so there's a consistency, or maybe you only want it for that one block, right? But I like consistency. And again, here's where you can change the size of the fonts, the kind of fonts, the color swatch. And again, if you know your hex color, that's great. Otherwise, there is there is a color swatch, but it's not comprehensive. So having your hex color is a good idea. That's why the templates are great. So again, you can just, edit, configure the look of your buttons, your pictures, your fonts this way, in the style, right? The content part of it also will just be more like, do you want the block? Do you want the links? Things like that, right? And you can always copy and paste text. That's great about this. You could just copy and paste the text. Maybe you're creating the text someplace else, pop it in, and it will keep the font. If you notice here, when I click in a paragraph block, you get another set of formatting, right? So a few things here to note. If it's suggested not to like type out actual links in a text block, like don't do this. One, it's like the PowerBase recreates the link because it's doing some tracking for the metrics, and also sometimes spam. It may go to spam because you're putting this link in there. It's better to hyperlink text. So I would like highlight the text that I want to hyperlink, click on this link icon, and then you can just go ahead and type the URL right there, right? And I'll just put something here so you can see what happens. I'll just put my website, PTP's website, and then you can see that's how it's now hyperlinked, right? Otherwise, put buttons. Buttons are great. It's good for the, works on a phone because it's big enough to put your thumb on it. So, you go ahead and you continue editing as you want. Again, one more thing you can do. Let's say you do want to put dear so-and-so. Maybe I put it on you can put it on any block, but I'll just put here to show. I'm going to put it in space, and maybe I want a dear. And again, this only works if you know everyone on your list has a first name. If they don't, I would advise against this because then it'll just say dear with a comma. So if I do know who it is, I would put a dear so-and-so, comma, and then it will insert the name. So, you continue configuring. There's lots more information on our tip sheet. So take a look at that on our network.progressivetech.org site. So the next thing you want to do before you send this, if you think it all looks good, is you want to go ahead and test. So we're going to click on test. And there's a few things you can do. One is you can take a look and preview this email as it would look as HTML, right? So you can see what it would look like as HTML, so you can get a sense of what it looks like. And this means that folks can view emails in HTML. You can also view it as plain text. And the next thing you want to do, and the great thing about Mosaico is that it creates mass emails or email messages that are mobile responsive. So I like to send myself a test email. So I will enter my email address in here, send a test, check it out on my phone. You can send it to other people individually. Or what we like to do is create a group of a few staff folks or people who are going to help proofread. So I created a mailing list group called Com Proofread, and then I can just send it to that group, get your feedback, that kind of thing. So once you've completed testing, because when you're testing, click on all the links, make sure that things are, you can read everything, the pictures look good. Close this out. Just note, you can save as many times as you want. If you hadn't noticed, it had been saving periodically, but I totally suggest saving, manually saving as much as you can. I go to, because you're working in a browser. So I'm going to close this. And now I have the opportunity to save as draft. If I want to save as draft, I can do that and come back to it later. You can find your drafts under mailings, draft and then schedule mailings, and then remember the name you gave it, and you can continue editing it. Otherwise, if you're ready to go, you're ready to send it or schedule it, I'm going to click on continue. And notice that you get to this last step here. I just want to make a note of this advanced emailing options. If I click on this, you do have some options. Now, some folks like to put attachments. Be mindful of attachments because if the file is too big and you're sending to, thousands and thousands, it's going to take a while to send it. And also, maybe there's a lot of folks may not be able to accept large attachments. So again, be careful of that. Maybe just put a link up someplace on your website or someplace else and send them there. But this is all where you can add attachments. I'm going to close it. I'm not going to have attachments. If I want to send an email immediately, I can go ahead and just click send immediately. That will immediately means within 10 minutes. Things in PowerBase are on scheduled jobs. So every 10 minutes, it'll push out the email. Or you can schedule it for the future and a time and date stamp, right? You can totally do that. And so if you want to do that, great. You can send that there. Otherwise, I'm just going to send immediately. Scheduling emails are great because you can prepare for things and then have it ready to go whenever you want. You can set up all your emails. Maybe you have a campaign that has multiple emailings. Write them all beforehand, schedule them, you're done. Sending the email, either way, I'm going to send this, and what happens if I submit the mailing? Now, again, remember, this is going to be, within 10 minutes. Now, this is a test demo site, so it's not really sending, but if you do want to see your mailings and what's happening with them, you go to mailings, scheduled and sent mailings, and then you can see the list of the ones that are scheduled or sent or what's happening. And you see, here's mine. Mine right now it's going to take a few minutes to go, so I can see it's scheduled, and you can watch when it gets started and when it completes, so you can look at that. And if you want to see the report, you can click on report. And the report will give you metrics, bounces, things like that. So that is how you create and send and schedule mass email messages using Mosaico.